Got an 09 MKS in the shop today. Codes are P0345, which is a bank 2 cam sensor, electrical fault, I think it's what it was, and then P0349, which is an intermittent issue with bank 2 cam sensor. So, cam sensor lives under those hoses. Real easy to get to. Then we'll just have to change the sensor because that's usually what fails on these. So we got to get all this tore off to get to it. So let's get it started here. All right, we got to unhook our idle air. This is our mass airflow sensor. And it's got a little red tab, so you're going to need a screwdriver. Or an angle pit. This is an angle pit. Grab one of these suckers right here. You get under here, find your little red, pull it back, and then you can take this connector off and we'll set that over here. And then we can get to our hose here. We're going to take it off. Oh, don't forget this one. This one here comes off like that. Kind of be gentle with this thing because these will break if you're not careful. We're going to take it off back here because it's just easier that way. So we'll take our snorkel tube and our air box top off together. Alright, and we can go ahead and pull this off first, like this. Take that loose. Pop our 2 clips down here on the air box top. This should pull out and up. Gives you a chance to look at your air filter because it's usually stuck to the top of the air box. We got all that room now. Alright. Fairly simple so far. Alright, so cam sensor 2. It's going to be hard to see, but we can get to it. It's going to be hard to get to. I'll show you where it's at. Alright, we got the drain happening on the coolant. Zoom in a little bit. We're going after that inside hose right there. That one right there. So I'm going to use my 90-degree pliers here. We're going to try to get this clamp moved so I can get a pair of vice grips on it. I don't know why in the world they would put this clamp sideways like this. This is absolutely the worst idea ever in the history of ideas. Especially because you can't get a grab on it for nothing. See if we can do it this way. We got to open up our pliers here. Squeeze it, and we got to roll it forward because it's stuck to the. Alright, we're going to have to unstick it from the hose. Let me grab my flathead screwdriver and I'll be right back. Alright, let's get this clamp undone from this. Squeeze it up like that. And you're trying to rock it back and forward, but you can't. So you take your screwdriver and you just kind of find an empty spot, and then you can roll it around a little bit and get your clamp loose. Then we can get our clamp pulled back to where we can get on it with the vice grips and slide the clamp back. Which we should be able to now because we got enough of the clamp sticking up. Push your pliers down and we can lock it together. There we go. And we can move this hose down about there, and we'll go ahead and lock it back in. And we got to grab this hose, Probably the easiest way to do this is with a 90-degree pick. You get in underneath the front of the hose here without destroying the hose. And you just kind of rock it back and forth. If you can get a flat screwdriver in here, that's always a good option too. These hoses, they like to get stuck here, so you got to take your pick and roll it around under here like this, and then you can be able to grab it and turn it. Or you can take your flat screwdriver on that space right here and you can pry it back like this, which is what I usually do. Goal here is not to destroy the hose, but to get it off the car so you can get to your sensor. Yeah, we can go ahead and pull it now. Grab it and just pull. It's coming off, and slowly, but it's happening. Yep. Usually you can twist these hoses and slide them back and they'll come right off, but on these cars that have seen little maintenance, they tend to get stuck on here, so you gotta rock them back and forth till they come loose. You can get your screwdriver in there and you just kind of push back on it without damaging the hose. A lot of times they'll come right off. Like this. Alright. I gotta move you guys so I can get to this hose. You can kind of get a better view of what I'm doing over here. So, this way I can get a hold of it back here and just pull real hard on it and it'll come right off. Theoretically, of course. And let me see if I can grab it with my pliers and rotate it. The pliers aren't big enough. I have to go get my jumbo pliers here in a second. All right, let me go grab my big pliers. I'll be right back. Got a pipe wrench, not recommended, but that's all I got. We can take our pipe wrench down in here and we're just gonna kind of get it on this hose and just kind of close it down a little bit over the hose, and then we're gonna use it to get it unstuck. Alright, I think we got it unstuck. Now if we can unstick our pipe wrench, not break it, we should be able to grab and pull this hose off now. Yep, I think it's coming off this time. Yep, here it comes. There it is. We'll take this hose and we'll set it over here to the side, out of the way. There's no coolant in it, so we can just hang loose over there. We can get to our switch a little better, which is what we wanted to do. So you got to push till it clicks, and then push down on it. So you need your screwdriver to do that with, so we can get on it like this, and we can push our connector off. Don't break the tab on the connector because it's important that you have it working. All right, so we got our connector loose. That looks like it's a 10 millimeter. Alright, go ahead and get our sensor pulled. Nope, it's an 8. That was the other option. Ford likes to do things in even numbers, GM likes to do things in odd numbers, and Chrysler doesn't give a crap one way or the other. So notice I'm using a 1/4 drive ratchet, not a 3/8 drive, because I don't want to snap the head off the bolt. I've got other things I got to do. I can't be spending time changing bolts out. These are usually pretty simple to get to, though. And you take your finger and you unscrew the retaining bolt. And these are the kind of sensors that they tend to get stuck in the cylinder head, so you got to wiggle it a little bit to get it to come out, because there's a rubber seal. That way you don't get oil leaking all over the back of your engine. You can definitely do this job with the hose attached, but it makes it easier when you take the hose off. Set your screw somewhere where you don't lose it, and then forget where you put it in 5 seconds. That's just what we do here. You grab your sensor and you pull it out. You want to inspect your sensor, because sometimes these will, this little magnet right here on the end, it'll get broke, and that'll cause you problems. This one looks okay. I'm shaking it to make sure I don't hear it rattle. Alright, so here's your part number for your new switch. These newer cars, it's always recommended you do the OE switch. You don't want to try to do an aftermarket, because I've had bad luck with that. So get the OE switch and you'll be good to go. And it's so OE, look at that, it's even got the FOMOCO on the end of it. The other one says made in Mexico. That's probably why it died. I'll show you how you put this back on. Alright. As you can see, we have our gaping hole in the side of our cylinder head. So you can put some silicone grease on this and slide it in. That way you don't tear up the O-ring. What I'll do is I'll reach in here, since there's oil in here, I'll put a little bit on my finger and I'll just kind of wipe it around the O-ring seal there, like that. See that right there? Got that all sealed up. And then you want to put this in. Slide it in. Rotate it down to where the bolt hole is. Push it till it clicks. And put your bolt back in. And then we'll connect our connector up before we put the hose back on. Be able to use your nut driver here that you use for your nope, can't get it down in there. I thought maybe we could do something special there, but I guess not. See if we can get that with our extension. Kind of make it a little bit easier to get this thing done. You gotta pick up on your other radiator hose and you can spin this down like this. Get it down on there and then tighten this up to, I don't know, tight, I guess. There is a torque spec, I just don't know what it is. I guess tighten it up to where it don't fall out. And you don't snap the head off the bolt. Like that. And we'll plug our connector back in here. Sure, this connector will only go in one way, so you don't have to worry about getting it on wrong, because it won't. It's got little groove slides in it, so you got to get it slid on there just right. Alright, we can go ahead and Make sure that's right. I'm gonna slide it up. Oh, you hear it click, just like that. All right, now we gotta get our hose back on. So here it goes. All right, you notice on your hose you got some indentations on here. You want to make sure that clamp, when you're ready, goes in them indentations. And because we had to pry this thing off, you want to check your hose inside for any gouges or anything that might cause it not to seal. And our hose looks clear, so we're going to go ahead and put it back on. So installation is the reverse of removal. All right, so we'll grab our pliers here. We'll grab our clamp. Now, if you're fortunate, you can get this thing to lock on there, which I hate doing these. Let me show you if we can get this thing to do it. I'll show you how this lock works. You get your clamp up, you get your pliers up here like this. And then you get it to where you can tighten this up. You want to tighten this up as much as you can, and we're going to lock this clamp. Nope, still not good enough. Alright. Nope, not quite. We're almost there. I don't like these because these, when they snap, they tend to take off your finger. But for demonstration purposes, and the fact I just want to see if this one works. Alright, let me see if it's latched. I think it's latched. No, it's not latched. It's almost latched. It's got to go about maybe 1/8 of an inch more. Alright, let's see if it'll latch now. Nope, it's not going to latch. Anyway, what you would do is you would latch that. Then you could slide it down. And then you could get the clamp in position and then take a flat screwdriver and pop the clamp. It's supposed to be a good way of doing it as far as like getting your clamp in position, but I've never had much luck with these. So doesn't mean you won't. It just means that I don't never had any luck with these before. GM uses these a lot, and there's usually, when you don't want them to snap, they snap. My pliers are crap. I gotta fix my pliers. Alright, better. Now you see why I use vice grips on these. Oh my god. Alright, let's get the long needle nose on it now. Takes 6 hours to change a clamp, I swear. Alright, let's go ahead and push this down like that. And we'll get our clamp in position. Like that. Our clamp is on. Get our hose back in its holder. Then I got to crawl under the car and close the drain. And then because our drain pan had oil in it, we're going to not reuse the coolant. We're going to get new coolant. So I'll get that ready to go. We'll add some coolant to this thing. So we're going to zoom you back. So I'll be right back. All right, we got our coolant here. The other coolant didn't look too bad, so I filtered it into our filtering bucket. And if we need some extra coolant, we've got some. I got to clean out my funnel here. Make sure you got a nice clean funnel before you start. Last thing you need is to put somebody else's junk in another person's car. So we'll fill the coolant back up, and then we'll put the air box back together, and then we'll be ready to start this. Put your thing down in there like that. And get you up here so you can see what we're doing. Alright. Keep our rag nearby. Off. Now if you accidentally get above the cold fill line, don't worry about it, because you're going to probably have to add to it while it's running. So, because we still have to run it and adjust it. So if you end up over, it'll be fine. And this is what I got here. I might have showed a video on how to build one of these. This one here, I've got it updated with the zip ties. So it filters it going in, and then it filters it coming back out. So we got some larger pieces that made it through, but they won't make it back through here. So, and if we catch them before we pull the plug here, we can grab them and pull them out. So it's getting 100% filtered, recycled coolant. You just want to, I need to get a smaller screen. Alright, because we see we got some little big pieces here we can try to get out by hand like that. Try not to get it all over your customer's car, like I just did. I'm gonna wipe that off real quick. Go ahead and pull our plug. A little bit more, and I think we'll be good on the coolant side. Go ahead and we'll get some more in here. If you build one of these, you can take the zip tie off, wash out the bucket, clean off the screen with an air hose, and you'll be good to go again. These little black bits, I'm not sure, I think they're paint. I think it's paint off of that DTS we did a while back, because I had to use this recovery thing for the DTS to do the cooling system. And I never actually got it cleaned out, so I might have to clean that out. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hold it right there. Let's go ahead and get our air box reassembled and get it ready to go. Because we are at the bottom of the cold fill range, so we're probably going to have to add some more coolant to it later. Check our hose isn't leaking, because if it was, we'd have coolant everywhere. So I'll go grab the air box piece and we'll get that put together. Alright, make sure you put your air filter in first. And then you want to get your air box into the slots in the side of it. Push down on your, oh, you got to make sure your vacuum line comes up, or your emissions tube comes up. You want to push that down. Make sure that you're lined up on your box. Go ahead and clip your clips back on. Alright, and then you want to get this PCV tube plugged back in. Get this air hose, or this tube plugged back in. Then since we only took it apart from the back clamp, you just have to tighten up the back clamp. we're going to go ahead and clear codes because we performed the repair. And this car also has an oil change required light on, so that means that whoever they took it to did not reset the computer, so we're going to reset it for them. So we've got to plug in our mass airflow sensor, put our lock back on it, make sure everything's tightened back up, and let's go ahead and clear codes, get our tools out of the way. Yeah, never leave your tools on your vehicle. That's a good way to lose them or get them destroyed or stuff like that. Grab scan tool. We can go ahead and let our jack down now. That we put underneath it so we can get to the drain on the radiator. Alright, so let's go to the inside. I'll show you how we do this part. Alright, this is a push button car, so we're going to have to, I'm going to take you off the pod here. And you're going to come inside with me. And you can see the dashboard and all that good stuff. Alright, so our key fob's sitting on our seat. We got to find our plug. I think it's over here on the right hand side. It's got a cover on it if I remember it correctly. Yeah, it does. I got to pull the cover off. So we'll get our tool plugged in here. Get our tool loaded up while we get our key turned on. Turn off our radio so we don't get copyright struck. Alright. So it says driver door ajar, so we're going to close the driver door. Try not to take out our tripod. Alright, so we got some codes on our computer. 0345, that's our Camshaft Position Sensor Bank 2. We just took care of that one. Alright, and then we got Camshaft Position Sensor A intermittent, that was another code. Then there's our other 345, and then there's our other 349. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to erase these codes. Okay, so we won't have that anymore. Now, because we did that, we need to try to start it. Let's make sure we have no codes in the computer. Alright, no DTCs. Alright, now listen to how it starts. Let's see if it's going to start rough. Oh, starts right up, like it's supposed to. We'll just let it run a couple minutes. While we're doing that, we need to go into our scan tool. We need to go down to service reset. And go to oil reset. We don't want to do that. We want to do oil reset. Alright, and then it tells you how to do it. So it says turn on ignition but do not start engine. Press setup to enter system check. Then press setup again to display oil life. Hold reset equals new is what it'll tell you. Press and hold reset for 2 seconds and release. Oil life is set to 100. Turn off ignition. So since we know our car's going to run, we'll go ahead and shut it back off. And then we're going to go ahead and hit on. And then it says press setup to enter system check. And then setup again to display oil life. Reset for system check. And then it's going to go through the list. All right, and then it says and says set up to display oil life. Hold reset equals new. See, they didn't even reset it. And then we should be able to go through. And then we hit setup again. Gives us our screen. And then we got reset for system check, oil life okay, washer fluid, doors closed, trunk closed, brake system okay, and 61 miles to empty, fuel level okay, and there's our odometer. So we got that done. Now we've got to just level off our coolant and we're done. So that's going to be it for me. So I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you on the next one.